Growing up in the early 2000s, the idea of a mainline Pokemon game on home consoles was the dream. Sure, there was Pokemon Stadium, where I could spend hours battling, playing minigames, and browsing the Pokédex, but what I really wanted was a full-fledged Pokemon RPG, and in 2004, I finally got it. Pokemon Colosseum for the Nintendo Gamecube. My dad actually bought this game for me when we were on holiday in Australia. It also came bundled with a memory card, and with good reason. To save the game, it took up a whopping 48 blocks. Jesus. Most Gamecube memory cards only have 59 blocks in total. I honestly don't remember much about this game's story, but I do remember it being quite unique and quite difficult in comparison to the mainline Pokemon games. Nowadays, having a Pokemon game on console is a bit of a given, but Pokemon Colosseum was the first of its kind. And to be honest, Game Freak could learn a lot from this title. In 2004, it was released exclusively for the GameCube. It was developed by Genius Sonority, a newly formed developer with the goal of developing Pokemon games for the home consoles. Developed the game instead of Game Freak. The game follows the basic stadium-style battling found in the Pokemon Stadium games, but it also includes extra gameplay in the form of an RPG story mode similar to the core series. Pokemon Colosseum is a Gen 3 game, so it incorporates all of the new additions and changes made in that generation. We can name our character as we do in many other Pokemon games. His official name is Wes, but I'll be renaming him for this playthrough. It's nice to finally play as a more mature character. It makes more sense when we eventually infiltrate and attack a vast evil empire, instead of a 10-year-old doing it. The game opens up with a Skarmory, flying through a desert canyon in the Orade region. In this canyon is a strange looking base. Residing inside are people clad in uniforms. Suddenly there is an explosion. A young man takes a mysterious device and flees from the base, with the uniformed thugs in tow. He manages to escape with his partner Pokemon to the outskirts. And this is where the game begins. We find ourselves outside of what looks like an old train. Two men leave the train talking about how they will be rewarded for some job that they have just completed.
Boss will be sure to fix us up good with big rewards too. Doesn't get any better than this. So what do you think, White Castle? I'm thinking I want a big juicy boiga.
I need water.
Entering the dilapidated train, we find out that it is actually a shop. The TV on the wall is showing news coverage of what had just transpired earlier.
Authorities have made a stunning announcement on the mysterious building that exploded in Echo Canyon. It was Team Snag'em's hideout. Team Snag'em is a gang of Pokemon abductors who have already been marked for arrest. The hideout was discovered only as a result of the explosion. By the time police arrived, the ruined building had already been abandoned. The cause of the explosion is under investigation. It should become apparent eventually.
At the back of the shop, we meet a man named Willie, who is interested in battling us. Leaving the train will trigger the first Pokemon battle of the game.
Yo, wait up.
Hey, my name's Willie. After I get a good look at you, well, I got this urge to battle you. It's like I'm compelled to. Any way I look at it, it's obvious that you're no ordinary Joe. So, what do you say? Let's you and me have a quick battle. Yeah, that's the spirit. Alright, over here, this way. Yeah, I'm burning now. I'm on fire. It's full throttle time. Vroom, vroom, let's roll. I need water.
And it is in fact a double battle. Introduced in Generation 3, a double battle pits two teams of two Pokemon against each other. The basic mechanics of the Colosseum battle system are similar to those of the mainline Gen 3 titles. When a trainer is challenged to a battle, the screen changes to a turn-based battle screen where the Pokemon fight. You can use a move, an item, or switch out your active Pokemon during battle. All Pokemon have hit points, also known as HP. When a Pokemon's HP reaches 0, it faints and cannot battle again until it is revived. Defeating the opposing Pokemon will earn you experience points for leveling up your Pokemon. After gaining enough experience points, a Pokemon will level up, increasing its stats, occasionally learning a new move, and even evolving. For this particular battle, we are facing two Zigzagoons with our starter Pokemon Umbreon and Espeon, so way different to what you'd usually expect from a mainline title. Not only are our Pokemon already evolved, but they are also starting at a much higher level with full movesets. Now, as a veteran player of this series, it is awesome to be able to start off with so much utility right from the get-go. Now you may think this might be terrible for beginners, as they are just kind of thrown in the deep end, but the opposing team is so weak that it gives you plenty of turns to figure out the mechanics, and the difficulty for the first few battles isn't very high. To begin with, Umbreon and Espeon are a really cool duo. The motif of the sun and the moon contrasting yet complementing each other aids in grasping the concept of a well-balanced team. Espeon's high special attack is great for taking out the opposing side, while Umbreon's bulk makes for a great tank for soaking up some incoming damage. However, this first battle doesn't really showcase this very well, as you can just take them out fairly easily just using any damage inflicting attacks. After defeating Willy, we can make our way to Phenac City. In this game you can travel to different locations using the map screen. There are only 2 locations available to us at the moment, but more will open up as we progress through the game. Right as we arrive, we spot those 2 guys from earlier, and it looks like they are carrying a sack with a dead body in it. Murder in a Pokemon game?
Hey, what are you doing? Get a grip, man. Yeah, you say that, but this, it won't stop squirming. Makes it tough to hold on.
Well, no. The game isn't that edgy. Not yet. It's actually just a young girl being kidnapped by 2 grown men. Kidnappers! Battle time! And once again, it is another double battle, because all of the battles in this game are double battles. That's right, the only way to have a singles match is in the separate battle mode. This adds an interesting twist to the gameplay, because the composition of a good doubles team differs significantly from that of a good singles team. The movesets used can vary greatly. While team synergy is important in singles, it is far more important in doubles. Let's look at some of the characteristics of a good doubles team. First and foremost, let us discuss the attackers. These are Pokemon designed to be the main damage dealers of a team. The primary goal when creating an attacker moveset is to avoid being walled. Walls are Pokemon that have high defensive stats. These Pokemon are used to absorb hits from the attacker, and are usually able to cripple the attacker or just force a switch because the attacks aren't doing much. Most walls also carry moves to recover back their health, like Roost, Soft Boiled, Recover, Rest, Leech Seed, etc. So in other words, you want to have a set of attackers that are so powerful that only a few Pokemon can safely switch into you and begin setting up. It is much easier to avoid being walled in doubles. For starters, your attacker may have a partner to help pick up the slack against an opponent it cannot effectively damage. It is simple enough to build your team so that most of them are not easily walled. Also, keep in mind that if one of your opponent's Pokemon blocks all of your Pokemon's attacks, you have the option of targeting the other opponent. It's extremely rare for both of your opponent's Pokemon to completely wall both of your Pokemon, and it's much easier to take out that last difficult to KO Pokemon when you can gang up on it with your remaining team. just bully them to death. However, you should still make sure that most pairs of Pokemon on your team have a good type coverage. As a general rule, an attacker on a doubles team should have no more than 3 direct damage attacks, so you have more move slots available to spend on your support moves, which is important for many doubles strategies. Once the battle is over, the kidnapper is shocked that you are able to take out his Whismur.
You took out my Whismur! You're no ordinary trainer, are you?
I had no idea that Whismur was considered such a formidable force in the Pokemon universe. They make a run for it, leaving the sack behind.
Oh, yuck. There's someone inside there.
We open up the sack, revealing a red-headed girl.
Phew, thank goodness I'm saved. Where is this? Where did those two bring me?
This is Phenac City, the opulent city of water. This person saved you from those thugs. The way he battled those goons, it was truly superb. I wish you could have seen it. Like, these text boxes are like, the length of the text box makes...
on purpose.
Oh, is that so? Thank you. And you're... Oh, so you're named Hidden. I am...
Now, because we saved her from the kidnappers, that means we get to name her. Because that's how it works. You save someone and you own them and can name them. Like a dog.
My name's Pancake. I'm sure glad I met you.
After introducing ourselves, the girl asks us if the men used a peculiar Pokemon. She is referring to another unique game mechanic that we'll go over a little bit later. But first we need to head to the mayor's office for advice for some reason.
Well, it's easy to see something's on your mind. You should go see our mayor for his advice.
Whenever you're lost, you think, I'll go to the mayor. I'm stuck on my homework. Better go to the mayor. Now, because she was just kidnapped, the girl wants us to escort her around, which actually makes sense as an excuse to have her follow us. So good job, game. Gold star. But she follows so close to us that she constantly gets in the way, so I'll be taking that gold star back. In towns and cities, you can walk around and talk to NPCs, go shopping, visit a Pokemon Center to heal your Pokemon, and participate in gym battles, so very similar to the usual Pokemon game. The walking/running animation is really goofy looking. It almost looks like he's trying to stop himself from falling forward. It's very robotic. In fact, all of the human animations are very stiff. Most of their movements just consist of bobbing up and down and aren't very expressive. The character design is doing the majority of the legwork when it comes to conveying character. As we head up to the mayor's place, we run into definitely not the villain. Can't see why anyone would think that.
I'd guess you're a traveling trainer. I like what I see in your expression. Foo, I have a feeling I may see you again somewhere.
I'm trying not to laugh more into this voice. It's so stupid.
At the mayor's, we learn a little bit more about the strange Pokemon with dark auras.
Ah, you must be travelers. Welcome to Phenac City. I am Agate, the mayor. Now, you wanted to see me. Is there something I may be able to assist you with? Oh, what may I do for a pretty young lady like you?
I saw it.
Saw it? And what did you see?
I saw a peculiar Pokemon. No, that's not quite right. What I saw was a Pokemon that gave off a black aura. It was like a fighting machine, and that Pokemon would attack people.
Oh my, Pokemon like a fighting machine, and it attacks people? Now, if that were true, that would be truly frightening. However, it's a little hard to believe.
It's true, Mr. Mayor. Because I saw that Pokemon, I was made the prisoner of some frightening men until just a little while ago.
I see.
The mayor tells us that there will be an investigation into the kidnappers, and we are then told to check out the stadium and town. But first, let's tackle the city's gym. The gyms in this game do not serve the same function as they do in the main title. We won't be getting any gym badges or anything like that. The pre-gym is a venue where you can level and train your Pokemon as well as earn items and TMs. The gym is set up differently to a regular one. This gym also contains a classroom, making it double as an academy. In the mainline games, you can leave the gym to heal your Pokemon in between fights, but in this game, the trainers must be fought continuously, with no breaks. In my opinion, this is how the gyms should work in all of the games. Gyms are always portrayed in Pokemon games as the ultimate test for a trainer, but they aren't. They simply function as normal battles. However, in this game, you must properly prepare for a gym, because once you begin, that's it. What you have is what you have, and you must devise a strategy to emerge victorious. We managed to defeat all the trainers and are rewarded with a white herb. We are told to return later once we have a full party of 6 Pokemon to fight with. Yeah, so I kind of forgot to return later, so sorry guys. I don't know what happens if you win. Probably a really useful item that I really would have needed at the end. Didn't have it. Talking to the receptionist at the stadium, we find out we can't even enter because it has already started, so coming here was a complete waste of time. Exiting the stadium, we coincidentally bump into the same uniformed guys whose base we just blew up. This is where we learn about Team Snag'em, the game's version of Team Rocket.
Who are these people? Huh? Are they Team Snag'em? And what do they mean by traitor? Hidden? You mean?
That's right, pretty lady. He's from Team Snag'em, just like us.
God, I'm shocked.
But he's no ordinary member. He's a snagger. He's the best in Team Snag'em at snagging Pokemon without fail.
No way! Is that true, Hidden?
He always lies. I do not. I tell the truth. Oh, what a lie.
Oh, you gritted your teeth, didn't you? Didn't you? It must be true. That's a little shocking.
Hey, Hidden. Come on, hand it over. Give back the snag machine you ripped off from our hideout.
The snag machine is the device we stole and are wearing on our arm. A device that converts ordinary Pokeballs into snag balls, allowing the user to capture the Pokemon of other trainers. And in this battle, we get to put it to the test. Except we can't, because we don't have any Pokeballs. So we'll have to go out and get some. And here is one of the weird things about this place. So apparently they don't sell Pokeballs here of any kind. So we have to head to the outskirts again and talk to the shop owner. And apparently there is so little demand for Pokeballs that he has them stowed away in a dusty old box behind the counter. Why? Why would there be no need for Pokeballs? There are trainers with Pokemon everywhere, and yet nobody needs or wants Pokeballs? It's such a weird bit of world building, and they don't really elaborate on it at all. But after thinking about it a little more, it actually makes sense in the context of this game, because in this game there are no wild Pokemon encounters at all. All the battles you participate in are trainer battles. Gold Star. When we return to Phenac City, we get our first encounter with a man with a gigantic two-toned afro, Mirror B.
Master Mirror B, it's him. He's the one that took that girl from us.
Jesus Christ, okay.
Oh, now aren't you boys frightfully pathetic? You mean to tell me you were bested by these darling infants? Darling, did you say your name was Hidden or something? I so don't like saying this, but we're not at liberty to keep your lady friend at liberty.
Such a cheesy line.
That sweet young thing, she can see things that ordinary people aren't supposed to see. That just will not do for what we're planning to do. No, it just won't do at all. If you don't like pain, like most people, you can avoid the pain by keeping your nose out of places it needn't be.
He is here to drop some hints regarding another criminal organisation called Cypher and their involvement with these strange black aura Pokemon. He then leaves Phenac City to return to Pyrite Town while we must battle his 2 henchmen. We finally get to see what the characters have been hinting at throughout the game. The strange Pokemon with the peculiar dark auras, a shadow Pokemon. Now earlier when I said that the Stag Machine allows us to catch other trainers' Pokemon, that is only kinda true. The game only allows you to capture the trainer's Pokemon if it is a Shadow Pokemon, so you can't just go around defeating trainers by capturing all of their Pokemon, as great as that sounds. The girl will notify us when a Shadow Pokemon comes out and who it is. Snagging a Pokemon plays out pretty much exactly the same as catching a Pokemon. Weakening the Pokemon and inflicting it with a status ailment will make it easier to snag. Depending on the type of ball you use will also change the odds. The better the ball, the better the catch rate. If the Pokemon breaks out, you can just keep trying as long as you have Pokeballs in your inventory. The thing that makes this much harder than in other games is the fact that all Shadow Pokemon know a move called Shadow Rush. Shadow Rush is similar to the move Struggle. It's a typeless damage dealing move with a power of 90, and the Pokemon takes recoil damage equal to 1/16 of the user's maximum HP. So Shadow Pokemon have a tendency of forever sleeping themselves, which can get really annoying. But you are able to re-challenge most trainers, so if you muck up you can just try again, or reload a save. We have now captured our first Shadow Pokemon. Now that we have a better understanding of the situation, it is our mission as a former member of Team Snag'em to locate, capture and cleanse all 48 Shadow Pokemon. It's a challenging task. Can we do it?
No, we can't.
Because it is this point that you must choose between saving one of 3 Pokemon. Speak with the red mysterious troop to obtain Quilava, talk to the green mysterious troop if you want Bayleaf, or talk to the blue mysterious troop if you want a Croconaw. So technically you can get the other 2 Pokemon later on in the game, and by later on in the game, I mean after you've finished the game. So that's lovely. Game's over, nothing else to do, here are these Pokemon that you can't use. Cool, thanks. We're going to catch Bayleaf now because he's the closest and I'm lazy, despite the fact that the Cyndaquil line is one of my favourites. Before we go to Pyrite Town, we need to stop at this construction site and get the script. Okay, so according to the script, we can now travel to Pyrite Town. Thank God for the script. Pyrite Town is a large town located in the southwest of the Ore region. The town is carved out of a crimson canyon and is littered with old trash and mining debris. Once a mining town, most of the residents have resorted to a life of crime since the town's livelihood began to wane. There are several trainers in town we can battle, and they all have a Shadow Pokemon we can capture. Now that we have some Shadow Pokemon to play with, let's look at what distinguishes them from regular Pokemon. Shadow Pokemon are created through an unknown process that drains the Pokemon's emotions, transforming it into a soulless fighting machine. While most Pokemon are friendly and trusting, Shadow Pokemon will attack with full force, employing Shadow moves such as Shadow Rush. As a result, they will not only attack other Pokemon, but also trainers. Shadow Pokemon's emotions can overwhelm them, causing them to enter a state known as Hyper Mode. As the Pokemon gets closer to purification, this state will be triggered more frequently, making them more difficult to battle with until they are purified. Calling to a Pokemon in battle will bring it out of Hyper Mode. We don't yet have the means to purify our Pokemon, so I'll go over that process a little bit later on in the video. We managed to stag a Mischievous, Quagsire, Noctowl, Flaffy, Skiploom, and a Ferret from the trainers. While walking around town, we notice that someone is distributing Shadow Pokemon to trainers via the Pyrite Colosseum. If you enter this building that has a G on the front, or is it a C? We'll meet Juking, the man in charge of the Colosseum. He is keeping quiet about what is going on in town though. When we press the switch on the bookcase, we discover a hidden hideout with a slew of kids inside. We overhear an argument between Juking and a boy named Silver as we leave the hideout. No, not that Silver. Or is it?
I trust things are going according to plan, Mirrorby. Oh yes indeed, Master Nescore. Our plan is coming along in a lovely peachy keen way.
Is there wind? Why is his hair moving?
We have already broken Duking's spirit. We can do as we please at the Colosseum without his meddling. We've been giving away Shadow Pokemon on the sly to challenge winners for gathering data. Good. The others also appeared to be doing their parts to implement our plan. Our Shadow Pokemon plan is falling into place quickly.
The final phase is not far off.
Whoa, this is perking up my spirit and body. Oh, I feel like dancing.
Save your dancing until our plan succeeds. I'm off.
Okay then, I shall make my return to the cave where my darling Pokemon await my return. Let the music play!
Mincing little steps. Like, what is this?
Mirabee appears to be the mastermind behind the Shadow Pokemon distribution, but Jukin is hesitant to intervene. We see a man stumble out of a nearby building on the way to the Colosseum. Further investigation reveals that Silver has decided to take the matters into his own hands and has stolen one of the gears that allowed the Colosseum to function. We must go to find the stolen gear because we need to compete in the Colosseum to get closer to Mirabee. And you won't believe where it is. Yes, we discover the missing equipment on the construction site for the brand new Colosseum. Is that the script? So many conveniences, but we love it. Returning the equipment finally allows us to face the Colosseum. To be honest, I was underwhelmed by the Colosseum. We battle 5 different opponents in a row, but unlike in the pre-gym, your Pokemon are fully restored after each fight, so it's not much of a challenge. As you may have noticed during the various battles, some of the Pokemon models appear to be, well, just plain not very good. This is due to the fact that the Gen 1 and 2 Pokemon models are the same as those used in the Nintendo 64 Stadium games. That is why they don't look as good. Humans on the other hand are highly stylized, with some looking fine and others looking ridiculous. It's a bit hit and miss. At the very least, the main character and our sidekick look good, though her eyes appear to be too far apart, but who am I to judge? Anyway, we just need to defeat all 5 opponents and we'll be escorted to Mirabee's secret hideout by some henchmen from a group called Cypher to receive our shadow Pokemon. It doesn't take the goons long to figure out who we are.
This guy, he's that hidden guy that Mirabee had been carrying on about.
What? The same guy who messed with us in Phenac City? Gah! I didn't know that when I let him in here. I'll put you back out!
We caught a Yama in this battle, but because it doesn't evolve until Gen 4, we won't be getting a Yam Mega. At the entrance we are greeted by Jukin, who has come to check on us. It turns out that his Plusle was taken as a hostage, which explains why he was so hesitant to confront Mirabee. Now that we know what's going on, we must make our way up through the hideout to save Silver and Plusle, but mostly Plusle. Let's be honest. Going through the hideout necessitates us taking on a slew of trainers. As previously stated, there are no wild Pokemon encounters in this game, so you don't want to skip any or you risk becoming underleveled. During these battles, I use the opportunity to fight with some of the shadow Pokemon we've captured. Even if you don't gain experience for them during the fights, it's important to do so because it speeds up the purification process. All a shadow Pokemon knows from the start is the attack Shadow Rush. Occasionally when using Shadow Rush, your Pokemon will enter Hyper Mode. You can use the call out feature in Hyper Mode to bring it out of this state. If it remains in Hyper Mode, using Shadow Rush has a very high chance of landing a critical hit. As the purple bar under the Pokemon's health meter depletes, the Pokemon will begin to remember more of its moves. Again, I'll go into more detail later because we still don't have everything we need to complete this process.
Oh my god, what the fuck is that?
Okay, I have to say that despite the fact that some of the character models in this game are really derpy derp, the Pokemon animations are among the best the series has ever seen.
I want to speak to a manager.
It honestly puts the more recent titles to shame. They're just so bland in comparison.
Bland. We're very bland. Very bland. It's bland. Bland. Bland as fuck.
I understand that the newer games have a lot more Pokemon to animate, but this game does a better job of conveying the personalities of its Pokemon. When we get to the top of the hideout, we find Silver, who has been beaten up by two of Mirabee's peons. After battling both of them, we were able to capture a Remoraid and a Mantine, who was also carrying a Remoraid. Does that mean we caught two Remoraids, or just one? How does that work? Mirabee video calls us after we defeat the peons.
Oh, we meet again, kiddies.
Mirabee, you cowardly cheat.
Cowardly cheat? That's so not true. Taking a hostage is perfectly fine as a bargaining tactic.
You call that a tactic? Plusle had better be okay.
Oh, the darling couldn't be any safer if it tried. I'm sure it will come to adore me before too much longer.
You gotta be kidding. Where is it? Give it back.
Whoa, no running or hiding for me. Come to the cave, that's where I'll be. I'll be waiting for you, my pretties. Whoa.
Now if we go down these stairs and into the elevator, we'll be at the start of the hideout and have a shortcut up to the top, so we can heal our Pokemon and return to the top. But actually you can't, because it's locked from this side. Why do this? It is clearly set up to be a shortcut, but it just isn't for some reason. So we walk all the way back and fight this guy with a quillfish that we can steal. We can now enter the hideout's underground section. It's basically the same as before, we just have a bunch of trainer battles to win as we traverse the underground. There are also Pokeball pattern chests that contain items that we can find throughout the game. There are items that you can use both outside of battle and during battle, just like in many other RPGs. Using an item during battle also takes precedence over the other actions, but it does spend a turn. You can also give your Pokemon a held item, which can have different effects depending on what it is. Pokemon are unable to use held artificial healing items, such as potions and full heals, but they can use berries. As a result, the berries' effects can be activated without consuming one of your turns. We were able to capture a Dunsparce, Meditite, and a Swablu on our way to our destination. Dunsparce is unquestionably the most valuable catch. It has the ability Serene Grace, which increases the likelihood of a move having an additional effect by doubling the chance. Psychic, for example, has a 20% chance of lowering the target's special defense stat, rather than the usual 10%. And Rock Smash always lowers an opponent's defense by 1 rather than a 50% chance. An ability is a game mechanic introduced in Generation 3 that provides a passive effect in battle or in the overworld. Some Pokemon species have multiple possible abilities, but a Pokemon can only have one ability at a time. We were eventually able to locate him. Mirabee, it turns out, is an administration for the Cypher group. Cypher appears to be the ones in charge of the Shadow Pokemon. Both the men who attempted to kidnap the girl are members of the organization too.
Yeah, woo! It's about time, darlings. I'm so frightfully tired of waiting for you. Stop the music! Oh, you kept me waiting for so long, I decided to work up a little perspiration. But my, you've been busy being naughty and messing up our plans. It was oh so close for everything to turn out just right, just the way we hoped. But I can salvage our plan by beating you, little man. And so, there's time for one last frantic dance before the grand finale. Let the music play! Stop the music! Let the music play! Stop it!
Mirabee loves Ludicolio, like a lot. Almost all of his Pokemon are Ludicolios, which is unfortunate for us because our team doesn't really have a good way of dealing with them. Ludicolio is one of those awkward dual types, being both water and grass, so neither electric nor fire will help. It also has a fairly high special defense, so we'll mostly be stalling them with Confuse Ray to get enough turns in to deplete their health. The last Pokemon to come out is a Shadow Sudowoodo. I decided to YOLO an Ultra Ball at it because we were running low on health. We were lucky and were able to capture it at full health on the first try. Espeon takes out the final Ludicolio and the battle is over.
Oh, how dare you! Don't you dare think you'll get away with your latest outrage.
I love those dancing cactus.
One of these days, I'll take great pleasure in kicking you about with my elegant dance steps. Oh, and I'm not giving up our Shadow Pokemon plan. Let's go! Escape!
Plusle was rescued in the back room, and Jukin and the others join us. Fortunately, we don't have to go back through the area and are teleported back to town. We inform Jukin of the situation, and as Plusle decides to accompany us. We consult the fortune teller before leaving town. She tells us that the solution to purification lies to the north. Agate Village is teething with the elderly. I'm guessing this is the Ore region's retirement community. However, it also contains a wealth of useful resources. It has a name rater, which allows you to change the nickname of your Pokemon, a berry master who will reward you with marshmallows. This village also houses the Pokemon daycare, though unlike in the other games, you can only have one Pokemon at a time in there, so there will be no bacon and egging, thank you very much. This is rated E for excludes egg laying. You guys need to get your minds out of the gutter, alright? The most important location is Relic Forest, which we will soon visit. First, we must pay a visit to the girls' grandparents who live in a tree. On our way to our grandparents' house, we grab the XP share from this chest. In Generation 3, if a non-fainted Pokemon in the party has an experience share, the total experience earned when an opposing Pokemon faints is split in half, with half evenly distributed among all non-fainted Pokemon who participated in the battle, and half evenly distributed among all non-fated Pokemon holding the EXP share. Speaking to the grandparents, we tell them that their daughter got kidnapped and her grandma's reaction is,
"Oh, how frightful."
That's the understatement of the century. Whatever, who cares, you're just a girl. In the middle of our conversation, a man interrupts. There appears to be something going on in Relic Forest. Iagan, the girl's grandfather, rushes off to investigate, and we aren't far behind. We are shocked to learn that Cypher is causing trouble once more. We catch up with Iagan, who is engaged in combat with a Cypher agent.
You? Who are you? What are you doing here?
Although you may ask while we're here, we simply cannot answer that. I can see that you're a senior citizen, but I cannot allow you to interfere with our affairs.
You're the ones interfering. Shady creeps like you, I'll personally run out.
Now, someone so old shouldn't overdo it.
Don't take me for a fool. I'll have you know I was once hailed as the most powerful trainer. That isn't all either. I have a comrade with whom I've been through thick and thin. This is the first Pokemon I got, and it's been with me ever since. Okay, Pikachu, we haven't battled this much in a while. Let's keep focused.
They've arrived to take Celebi and then destroy the shrine. Why do they want to destroy it? The stone in the center of the forest is capable of purifying shadow Pokemon and restoring them to normal. Purification is the process of removing all traces of the shadow from Pokemon. There are 5 different methods for purifying a Pokemon from the shadow. Battle with it, call it out from hyper mode, walk around with it in your party, put it into Pokemon daycare, or use the cologne case on it. The purple bar beneath a Pokemon's health bar shows how much shadow it has. The shadow is divided into 5 bars. If no bars are cleared, the Pokemon can only use Shadow Rush. They regain 1 attack after clearing 1 bar. They will begin earning experience after clearing 2 bars, but the experience will not be applied to the Pokemon until it has been fully purified. When 3 bars are cleared, the Pokemon learns a second move, and when 4 bars are cleared, they learn their third. When all of the bars have been cleared, we can take the Pokemon to the Celebi Shrine in Agate Village to be completely cleansed. Iagan unfortunately loses the battle because he sucks. It is up to us to stop the Cypher agent. The Hitmontop he employs is a shadow Pokemon, and it is one of the few good fighting types we will be able to obtain in the game, so it is worthwhile to capture. Leaving Umbreon in as the tank against the Hitmontop was a bad idea, because it is super effective against us. I know I joked about picking Bayleaf before, but in situations like this, it's a good alternative tank to have on the team. Luckily, we were able to catch the Hitmontop, and the Cypher guy makes his escape. Yagan thanks us and we return to the grandparents' house where Grandma will be waiting with a stone tablet. In the house near the Pokemart, we speak with Senilor, what the fuck, how do you say that? We speak with Senilor. That's it, that's the best I could do, sorry. He tells us everything we need to know about Celebi's shrine and that we'll need a time flute to summon Celebi. Leaving the house, we check the script. Receive an urgent email. Yeah, that's what happens. Cypher has taken control of Mount Battle. I guess that's where we should go next, according to the script. I mean email. The mountain is essentially a massive hollowed out active volcano. Sounds safe. To pass the challenge, challengers must battle through the 10 areas, each with 10 trainers. A total of 100 battles must be won. However, the actual location has been closed due to Cypher's takeover. We must first defeat the trainers on platforms 1 to 9, followed by the Cypher admin Dakim on platform 10. The peons aren't too difficult to deal with, but once we get to platform 10, we'll want to save because he has a Pokemon that we really want to catch, and it can be a real pain to do so. Dakim is threatening Area 1 leader Vander, who is in possession of the Time Flute, and Dakim wants it.
Fine. After all the persuading I did, you still won't hand it over? This is what happens to stubborn oafs who don't do as I say.
You treacherous swine. How can you refuse to battle?
Treacherous? You didn't really think that a worm like you could win? All you had to do was to hand over the Time Flute without making a fuss. It's your own fault for getting hurt. Since you're not cooperating, I don't have any choice but to haul you off to Ian's lab.
Can you cut that together in post?
Yeah.
Huh? Who are you? What were my underlings doing? That outfit of yours. You must be the troublemaker who messed with Scrub and Celebi's. And now you've come to mess with me, the great Dakim. Don't make me laugh. I'll pound a lesson into your flesh and bones so you'll never even think of bothering me again.
I need to drink water. That guy's voice is hard to do. Oh, that's so much better.
So, unfortunately at this point we arrive completely unprepared. We have no coverage. This is one of the game's most vexing aspects. Because purification takes so long, and you can only level and evolve a purified Pokemon, you end up with a really awkward team structure where your Pokemon aren't necessarily bad, but you can't do much with them because they're stuck in their shadow state and can't learn anything. Dakim frequently employs the Protect and Earthquake combo. After Melting is knocked out, he sends out what we're looking for. Entei is my personal favourite of the 3 legendary beasts. Catching a legendary Pokemon is difficult in most Pokemon games, but it is a nightmare in this game. For instance, because of this! Jesus. So often do they get forever sleep by something out of your control. We captured it, first try.
Liar!
And we also managed to just scrape by and win the battle.
This isn't over yet. Stronger Pokemon are being made even now. You'd better get serious about training your Pokemon for our next meeting.
Dakim jumps away and Vander gets up and gives us the Time Flute. Next to Vander is a shiny object, which is the F-Disc. We pick it up as it is very important later on.
That wasn't an experience I'd ever want to have again. I'm glad you came to my rescue. Thank you. This is the Time Flute. I happened to find it while I was on my training track.
You want to see my Time Flute?
It's said that the Time Flute will summon Celebi, but just one. There must be something about Celebi that frightens them. They obviously don't want Celebi to encounter Shadow Pokemon. But let's not spend any more time here. Let's go back. Person I've never met before, let's go back to my place. I've got some Chianti and some cheese.
And a Time Flute.
Your skin is so soft.
Like my Time Flute.
But here, I want you to have this.
But are you certain? May we really have something this precious?
Of course you may. I'd rather have you use that Time Flute than have those crooks take it by force. Use it,
and save the shadow Pokemon from their sinister plans.
We return to Agate Village to put the Time Flute we just received to use. The Time Flute summons Celebi, who instantly purifies one of our shadow Pokemon when used at the Relic Stone. Because we can only use it once, we'll use it to purify Entei. He will be our primary fire Pokemon. Even though his special stat isn't as good as his attack, the only other option for our team right now is a Makago, and we don't really need another defensive Pokemon since we already have Umbreon and Bayleaf. Receive an email from Dukine informing us that they have apprehended 2 of Mirabee's goons in Pyrite Town, but before we get to that, you'll notice that our team is falling behind in levels, so it's time for some grinding. Yay, my favourite. Everyone's favourite. Now that Cypher has been driven out of Mount Battle, we can now participate in taking on the 100 Trainer Challenge. It starts off really easy, like ridiculously easy. Oh, poor baby. We won't get much experience from these battles, but the first few levels are great for purifying some shadow Pokemon, and every 10 battles we get a Poke Coupon. At this counter, Poke Coupons can be redeemed for prizes. There are TMs as well as some extremely useful held items. We actually got quite far before being wiped out, mostly because of our Pokemon's bad luck with hitting themselves. God damn it. Our team gained a fair few levels, and Flaffy even evolved into an Ampharos, who is going to be our main electric type for our team. Our Ampharos has the ability Static, which will paralyze a Pokemon if it is hit with a physical attack. This is going to help a lot when trying to snag the lower catch rate Pokemon. Plus Ampharos is one of my favourite electric types. In Pyrite Jail, we find the key to the cells just sitting on the table. Great job everybody. You're doing great police work there. You need a raise. One of the Cypher peons from before is sleeping in the cell, so we can pickpocket the elevator key from her. The elevator is in the hideout, and going down it brings us to the Under. The Under is a city located directly beneath Pyrite Town. It has 2 Colosseums, the Under Colosseum and the Deep Colosseum. This place is nothing like what you'd expect to see in a Pokemon game. This is one of my favourite things about this game. It's not afraid to do something different. They strike the perfect balance in having something unique, but not so far out there that it doesn't feel like a Pokemon game.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's time for the Under Time again today. Without further ado, let's bring out the special someone we've all been waiting for. Lady Venus, please.
Hi everyone, it's me, your Venus. Everyone's Venus, that's me. I have something terribly important to share with you today. It's horrid. There are spies right here in the Under. Can you imagine? We don't really know all the details, but if you see anyone suspicious, please let us know. Everyone, please, I'm counting on you. We need you to get lots of information for us.
And that was Lady Venus. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for watching. Please do tune in again.
Why does she say that every time? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, like it.
So there are some spies wandering around, and it is definitely not us. The city is mostly pro-Cypher, apart from a few citizens, most notably the anti-Cypher Kids Grid Network, who we run into in this building. Net is a computer wizard who will keep us up to date on what's going on in the town, as well as update our PDA with Shadow Pokemon data. Now the PDA is the game's equivalent of the Pokédex. It is an abbreviation for Pokemon Digital Assistant. The PDA stores a trainer's ID number, money and Poke Coupons, as well as sends and receives emails. In addition, the snag list was added to our PDA, allowing us to keep track of the Shadow Pokemon we have captured.
Venus, what is your situation?
You gotta stop laughing over the lines.
Well, a couple mice appear to be running loose, Naskur, but it's nothing to worry about. We'll catch them right away, pulverize and mash them up, Giggle.
It does just say
Fine. The priority is to distribute Shadow Pokemon. Don't forget. As for you, Ian, hurry. Complete the Shadow Pokemon's development as soon as possible.
Your trust will not be misplaced, Master Nascor. Already, sufficient Shadow Pokemon battle data has been gathered from our minions. My masterpiece, the most powerful Shadow Pokemon in history, shall soon be ready.
Good. I will be waiting for good news. That is all.
Now, it is time we return to the lab and put on the finishing touches. Come, back to the lab.
Yes, sir.
The spy has been captured. See, it really wasn't us. God damn it, Silver. So we need to save him. Battling this chick, we get to snag her Lydian. Silver gives us the R-Disc. Using the R-Disc, we can get over to the TV studio and confront Venus, the third Cypher admin.
You two, you're holding up the film shoot. We're about to begin filming. Wait, who are you? Giggle. Those faces were on the blacklist from headquarters. How did you find us? But that's not important now.
Why did she ask? Like, what? How did you find us? That's not important. Did we miss a line?
I'll squash you myself and collect a reward from Master Naskur.
So Venus's gimmick is she likes to use Attract on your male Pokemon to infatuate them. A Pokemon that is infatuated cannot use moves 50% of the time, even against Pokemon other than the one it is infatuated with. It is annoying. Don't attack Delcatty with physical attacks, or her ability will automatically make you attracted to her. If your Pokemon is male, of course. She ain't gay. So no lesbian. Steelix will use Earthquake, which is actually helpful this time as her other Pokemon never use Protect. We want to make sure Steelix is taken out before Suicune comes out, for obvious reasons. Jesus. Suicune is the best water type Pokemon that we can get in the game, so we want to make sure that we snag it. Yes! First try.
Liar, liar, plants for hire.
How dare you? How can I get bested by a mere boy? Remember this! I'll get you back for this!
Venus makes a break for it, and we must pursue her down the stairwell. On the way down, we capture Gligar, Stantler, Piloswine, and a Sneasel.
You're mean to me. I'm gonna cry. Okay?
We also find some Ultra Balls and Timer Balls on the way down. There is a lot of misconceptions out there about certain ball catch rates. Many people believe that the Ultra Ball has a 3 times higher catch rate than that of a regular Pokeball, but this is not the case. It only has twice the catch rate of a Pokeball. The Great Ball has a catch rate of 1.5 times, so buying Ultra Balls at the store is a bit of a rip-off. In this game, the Timer Ball is far more effective than you might think, because catching a Pokemon takes more turns on average. Achieving a 4 times capture rate is quite common. Okay, rant over. Shut up, woman! We finally caught up with her at the subway. We board the train, but we don't have the key to operate it. Fortunately, Venus is a moron and drops the key outside the door. The train takes us to a lab, but once again we are stopped by some Cypher goons who blow up the floor to prevent us from entering. Bit extreme. Conveniently for us, the script instructs them to leave the gate key to the lab on our side, so we can still enter but must go through the main gate. Before we go to the lab, we need to get this U-disc from the chest off to the side of the train. It enables us to use the platform to ascend to this room and retrieve another time flute. Of course, we're going to be using it to purify Suicune. Now we finally have a decent water type on our team. The main gate key will grant us access to the lab. Like the name suggests, this is where Cypher has been creating shadow Pokemon. The game never actually explains exactly how they are created though. So if you were hoping that we would find answers here, then sorry for the disappointment. Navigating through the lab, we find that most shadow Pokemon produced here have already been shipped elsewhere. The lab is connected to the Under via the subway, allowing the shadow Pokemon created to be easily distributed to trainers in the Under and Pyrite Town. We must collect 3 randomly placed DNA samples from around the lab. Along the way, we also snag Apon, Murkrow, Fortress, Ariados, Granbull, and a Vibrava. In this room, we use a DNA analyzer to find out which Pokemon's DNA has been taken in order to unlock a door leading to the mastermind and leader of the lab, Cypher Admin Ein.
Good. This disk has been scrubbed of all data.
Let's done it. Hey, how did you get in without my notice? Ah, I see. You must be the much talked about hidden. Little did I expect to see you here. I am Ian. I am in charge of the Shadow Pokemon Lab. No one must be allowed to interfere with our Shadow Pokemon plan. I won't allow it. Let me acquaint you with the power of my Shadow Pokemon.
His Pokemon are very powerful. He'll perform a Rain Dance and Thunder combo. As a result, Thunder has perfect accuracy. Fortunately, we can compensate with Sunny Day. Ein possesses the last legendary beast, Raikou. First try.
Your struggle to get here was all in vain. The Shadow Pokemon we produced have already been moved elsewhere. And that, of course, includes the ultimate Shadow Pokemon I created for the boss.
He makes a run for it and we take the data ROM. Taking the data ROM to Net, he informs us that it contains a list of all the Shadow Pokemon, but it is corrupted. He'll recover it for us and send us updates via the PDA. We are now in the home stretch. Remember that construction site we went to earlier? Now that structure has been completed, it's time to take on Realgam Tower. This location stands in stark contrast to the other areas we've visited. It's very pristine-like. Now the tower itself is actually at the back of the building, so once again we will need to battle our way through. We'll be rematching with all 4 admins this time. They each have a key, and we'll need all of them to open the door. These rematches not only provide a good challenge, but they also give you a second chance to catch the legendary beasts if you missed them the first time. There are also a couple of battles with Cypher Peons in this area, where we can snag a Delibird and a Sunflora. After inserting all 4 keys into the door, we can proceed to the tower's lobby. But before we can go any further, we receive an email from Iagan that has half of the message cut off. God damn it. Returning to Agate Village to check on him, he'll give us a Master Ball. We'll just be participating in more trainer battles. All of the Pokemon in this stage are fairly high level, so it's a good chance to gain some extra experience, which we'll need, trust me. We gotta hear across and talk to this guy by the lift. It turns out to be Silver in disguise, which is cool, but he could have helped us sooner instead of just standing there. Thanks, Silver. Yeah, we helped you all those times. You didn't even help us. What a friend.
You finally reached me. I must say that I am impressed. Hidden and Pancake, I welcome you to the Realgam Tower. My name is Mascor. Do you remember that time we met in Phenac City? I did have the feeling that I would one day face you in battle. But I never imagined that you would be the one to seek me out here. Very soon, we will be ready to greet your arrival in style. I will go ahead and wait for you. Don't keep me waiting too long.
After our brief conversation with Nascor, we can finally save and heal in this room. The healing machine, however, is guarded by a trainer. God damn it! As we approach the elevator, someone comes down and it is our old boss Gonzap. He's furious with us for destroying their hideout and stealing the snag machine.
That guy's got the best mustache.
Long time no see, eh, Hidden? You're not gonna break my heart and tell me you've forgotten my face, are you now?
That face? It can't be. Team Snag'em? But why here?
Even if you don't want to believe it, you're absolutely right, little lady. I'm Gonzap, the boss of Team Snag'em. And don't you forget it. Did you ask what I'm doing here?
Yes. Isn't this Cypher's headquarters? Team Snag'em shouldn't have anything to do with this.
Well, surprise, surprise. We do have a lot to do with this, Missy.
We were just thieves before we got a hold of the snag machines. And where did we get them? From Cypher.
I'm shocked.
What they wanted was this: go snag superior grade Pokemon from trainers everywhere.
What? So this is all just one big plot hatched by Cypher?
That's what I'm saying. Aren't you the brainy one, Missy? Master Nascor's waiting for you upstairs, but you've got me to deal with first. We've got a little score to settle here. It's time you paid up for wrecking our hideout and wiping out Team Snag'em. Don't get any ideas about beating me.
Well, it appears he's come to exact some retaliation. He loves using Hyper Beam, like a lot. His Pokemon have high levels and can deal a lot of damage. Our team is a little underleveled, but it's diverse enough that we can get by. He has a Shadow Skarmory that we can catch, which I believe is the same one we see in the opening cutscene. When we get off the elevator at the top of Realgam Tower, is that how you say? I've been saying Realgam? I don't think that's right. Realgam. That doesn't sound right either. When we get off the elevator, we're on top of Realgam Tower. It's Colosseum, if you will. Okay, I'll stop. We must battle the next 4 trainers all in a row without getting healed in between. It's hard.
What kept you hidden? I worried that perhaps Gonzap had beaten you. The time has come for you to pay off some debts. We'll have you battle as payment towards the huge losses you inflicted on. I expect to see spectacular battling out of you. After all, you're here to entertain.
It's a great challenge to really test your skills. Each trainer also has a shadow Pokemon we can capture. There is a Miltank, Absol, Houndoom, and a banana dinosaur. Nascor is the game's final boss, and he has a formidable team.
Bravo, bravo. Well done. Why not become a Cypher Throw Battle trainer? Would you even consider it? I'll vouch that you will become a top star in no time. I wouldn't have minded making that proposition, but I'm afraid I'm not that big-hearted. I will destroy you in battle right now. You will know the humiliation of total domination before this crowd.
It has excellent type coverage. He will also use X items to power up his Pokemon, giving us time to set up on him. He also has a Metagross that we can snag, which is a pain in the ass, especially if you don't catch it, because you'll have to start from the beginning of the tower to get another chance. It is definitely worth considering using the Master Ball in this situation.
Ah, it's not over, Hidden. Come on, we shall battle.
Enough. Don't embarrass yourself, Nascor.
Sir, I beg your pardon.
What's going on? Nascor's apologizing. Isn't he supposed to be the boss?
My, that certainly was a battle worth seeing. I must be honest with you, I never imagined that you would get this far.
Huh? Mr. Mayor, why are you here?
Oh dear me, do you fail to understand still? You're such an innocent child. At times, I am the affable mayor of Phenac, and at others, I am the secret boss of the criminal syndicate Cypher. I am a Viche, and I shall rule the world. Dude can do a backflip at his age and weight? Like, that's impressive.
How dare you meddle in our affairs so thoroughly? The Shadow Pokemon plan. We can resurrect from the start, but you two, you'll never be forgiven. I'll destroy you so utterly that you may never again rise against me.
Wait, what? The fat, loopy mayor of Phenac City is actually the head of Cypher? Oh my god, what a thrilling and satisfying twist. Yeah. So this is the real final boss. Evice will use a lot of items in this battle. He prefers X items and will almost always use hyper potions when he is at low health. Because of its bulk and high attack stat, slacking can be a pain to deal with. His shadow Pokemon is Tyranitar. If you haven't already, use the Master Ball on it. You don't want to screw it up and have to redo all of the battles. Yes, first try.
Halt! Stop where you are. There's no getting away this time.
Cypher's finished. The Shadow Pokemon plan ends now.
Pancake, are you alright?
Pikachu!
Blast you. Don't you forget what you've done, Hidden? It won't end this way next time. I will ruin you the next time. I promise you that.
What is this guy, Dr. Robotnik? What the fuck is going on? Funny mustache, funny voice, gonna escape in a little funny helicopter? Like,
let us meet again. Our bid to take over the world using Shadow Pokemon hasn't ended yet.
the fuck was that?
Your plan? I think it just ended.
What?
Is it seriously it? That's the end of the game?
And that concludes the main story campaign. The bad guys get arrested, Haro appears and everyone gazes at it. They're all amazed by its beauty and shit. So the main story overall is very meh. The twist villain at the end almost has no build up to it. Cypher has some interesting characters, but they are nowhere near as memorable as Team Rocket or Team Aqua. The larger world is hinted at, but there are so few places to visit that there isn't enough time to establish its setting very well. It is an intriguing idea to play as an ex-member of one of the villainous teams, but they didn't do much with it. Nobody cares that you used to be a bad guy, and the only one who brings it up is the Team Snag'em boss, who only appears at the very end of the game. To be honest, it was a huge wasted opportunity. The setup has so much potential, but the game never does anything with it. I understand that the goal is for the player to project themselves onto the main character, but if that is the case, why give him such an elaborate backstory in the first place? The main character might as well be a plank of wood. The girl's power to see shadow Pokemon is never explained. She could have easily been replaced with a machine that the protagonist just carries around. It seems like her only purpose was to be the voice for the player, since we play as the silent protagonist, but at that point they should have just had the player character talk. It's weird they do so little with the characters, even though there was an opportunity to. The concept of shadow Pokemon is fascinating, both in terms of story and gameplay. It adds a whole new dynamic to the battle when you're trying to defeat a trainer while also capturing their Pokemon. They could have done more with it, such as allowing some opponents to have more than one shadow Pokemon. Having said that, I believe the sequel does address this. Purifying Pokemon can be time consuming. It's a slow process that can make assembling a good team difficult, especially early in the game. Shadow Pokemon's concept was intriguing enough for it to appear in Pokemon Go. The main story is completed, but we still have more Shadow Pokemon to save. It's time to take on some post-game content. The post-game isn't anything amazing. It's not like Gen 2's where you get to revisit an older region. No. We will just be revisiting some locations. It's primarily a means of catching Shadow Pokemon that you may have missed during the story campaign. To obtain the remaining Shadow Pokemon, we must take part in the game's most difficult battles and face the deep Colosseum in the Under. To begin, we will travel to the Team Snag'em hideout. We finally get to visit this location. It's full of trainers to fight and items to find, but what we're really after is this guy's Quilava. Back at the lab, we can also capture Croconaw. We now have all 3 Gen 2 starters. Now let's head back to the Snag'em hideout. On our second visit, we are able to obtain an Ursaring and a Smeagol, who looks terrifying in this game. In his office, we find Gonzap, who wants a rematch. He doesn't have a Pokemon for us to catch, but we need the item we get from defeating him, which is the D-Disc. That lets us get into the deep Colosseum. We have to complete this Colosseum 5 times. 5 times. It's really not that bad though. Each go through, we will face one of the 4 Cypher admins. This gives you yet another chance to catch their shadow Pokemon. Catching Pokemon in this game is a lot more challenging than in other titles, but they do give you a decent amount of chances to catch them. In this game, capturing the legendary beasts is far easier than in Gold and Silver. You don't have to chase them around the globe, and they can't flee. So back in the day, this was the simplest way to obtain these legendaries. On the 5th go through in the Colosseum, we can finally get what we came for, Shuckle. Shuckle's defense is insanely high. It's not hard to catch, it just takes a bit of time to whittle down its health. We just need one more Pokemon and we'll be faced with the most difficult battle of all, the conflict with ourselves. Oh, it's just somebody in disguise. Never mind then. This is the most difficult battle in the game. He's at a much higher level than us, but his coverage isn't all that great. His Togetic is extremely weak, and we can easily snag it. The final Shadow Pokemon is ours. So we've finally captured all 48 Pokemon. As you scroll down the list, you'll notice that many of the Pokemon are from Generation 2. This is due to the fact that these Pokemon can be transferred to the Generation 3 games on the Game Boy Advance. Pokemon Red and Blue were remade in Fire Red and Leaf Green, but at the time this was the only way to obtain some of the Gen 2 Pokemon. But one of the Pokemon is still missing, and that is Pokemon Gold's box legendary Ho-Oh. The procedure for obtaining Ho-Oh is lengthy and laborious. After purifying all 48 Shadow Pokemon, you must defeat all 100 trainers on Mount Battle in Battle Mode. Now this takes forever, and honestly, I can't be bothered. I don't get paid enough for this. And with that, we have finally managed to catch them all. Aside from the Pokemon you get from the e-reader cards and the bonus disc Pokemon, but other than that, we've caught them all. Battle Mode is the other half of Pokemon Colosseum. Unlike the story mode of Colosseum, Battle Mode focuses solely on Pokemon battles, similar to the Pokemon Stadium games. There are two modes, Colosseum mode, where you use your team from the story mode, and Battle Now, where you use rental Pokemon. Unfortunately, the multiplayer for this game forces you to have a Game Boy Advance and GBA to Gamecube link cables to have multiplayer fights, which is pretty scummy, considering they had no trouble implementing multiplayer in the older Stadium titles. Pokemon Colosseum embraces the term working with what you've got. It's not as polished as other Pokemon games, and it has a way more gritty feel to it. Don't get me wrong, it's still goofy as hell, but it has an edge to it that you don't usually see in the Game Freak titles. While the game lacks in polish, it more than makes up for in personality, thanks to the amazing animations and the sheer size of some of the Pokemon. All of the Pokemon just seem to come to life. It adds a lot to the experience to see Wailord and Steelix as the true giants that they are. The downside to all of the spectacle is that it slows down the pacing of the battles. During long play sessions, I did become impatient with the filler fights. The difficulty curve can be steep at times, but it is never unfair. The game will really challenge you in the latter half, which I feel has been really lacking in the more modern Pokemon titles. During a battle, the trainers employ strategies and items. It really does make a difference to have a well-balanced team. If you want a good challenge, but don't want to get into competitive Pokemon battling, this game is a great option. It will never be able to compensate for the human element present in competitive, but it will provide a reasonable challenge. And best of all, this game is a lot of fun. Bye.